Okay, 3:30 in a few seconds here. So Trade Ideas Live Q&A here. So open forum Q&A. There's a few people I had some interactions with throughout the day here. Hopefully you'll all be piling in here in a moment, and I can demonstrate and answer any of those questions that you folks had that I was interacting with during the day today. We'll give everybody a moment to pile on in. Just going to throw myself on mute for 1 second here. Alrighty, so far it looks like I'm talking to myself alone. So again, just getting started here. Trade Ideas Live Q&A. It's an open forum Q&A for people to come in, get their questions answered about the software, whether they're a subscriber and something they'd like to know, learn, see, have demonstrated, or if you're someone who's just interested in the software and just want to see it live, what it looks like, capabilities, things we can do, how it may play a role in helping you make some more actionable decisions in your everyday trading and investing. So got right now up on the chart a alert for KR that came in from our AI today. Pretty solid alert. Earnings play, nice gap up, blasted through some prior resistance, moved right up into some other prior resistance, closing a gap here before it started to fade back a little bit here. So decent alert from the AI right there. Still up at this point. $1.50 from the entry. It looks like $1.49. So I see the numbers are basically nobody to this point still, talking into the void, but anybody that does roll in and out of here, again, it's an open forum. So if anybody has questions, please fire them away for me. That's what I'm here for, here to help answer, demonstrate, and hopefully we'll have some interaction in a moment here. I'll take a moment, and I did the live Q&A at noon today as well. So I'll take a moment. I broke down some of the AI trades. I think the AI had entered everything at that point. Yeah, so nothing new has happened since that. Chris, how do you share a scan with a custom formula? So what you would have to do is this. I'd share the scan. So for example, here's this cross scan that I made. All right. So I'll right click and share the scan. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me do it not from there. Because I don't want to save it to my cloud for 500th time. But you'd share the scan. All right. So here's the scan coming in. All right. There we go. All right. Now, when you load that scan, you're going to come into the configure. All right. And you're going to delete the value for the custom that's in there. So I don't know what the custom will look like on yours. All right. But you're going to get that. If it's in there, you're going to delete the values for that. Okay. If you have the custom formula already in your cloud, then you're going to come to search and you're going to find that custom formula and you're going to add it, So just, for example, if it was whatever, any one of these ones here, and then I'm going to add the filter and I'm going to put the values back in that I had erased from the original custom in there. And then the scan will be good to go. Let me know if that makes sense. So you just have to have the custom, because when the scan transfers from person to person, my custom U12 is not going to be the same as your custom U12. Odds are, all right? So you just have to get rid of their custom formula, because all the rest will be the same. So just get rid of their custom formula and then pass over your version of that custom. It's still technically the same custom. It's just unique to your cloud, your account. And let me know if you need me to go back over any of that again. So I'm just curious. Did anything? Wow, this didn't start alerting stuff till way later in the day. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what any of these did. TS. Oof, that's ugly. It's an ugly daily chart, anyways. It was a nice looking daily chart right up until that moved down. Yeah, got a whole 3 cents on that alert. BXMT. Not too shabby off that alert. 55, topped out around 80. So like I said, I'm still holding out hope on this scan here. We'll see what happens. So alerted at 68, price at 85 now, topped out at 94. That's not bad. Some okay alerts in here. However, the back testing won't have any of these alerts in it tomorrow because I think the scan cuts off at noon. So kind of funny how that worked out for it. Yeah, sure thing, Matt. So on any scan, whether we have what we call alert windows and top list, there's some variations between those, but they both have basically the same filter sets that you can use. So everything in Trade Ideas is right click. So if I right click, I've got this whole list of options here for different things, and configure is what we want. And whether you were building the scan from scratch or you're editing a scan that's already built, the configure window looks the same. They'll just whether or not there's filters already in it. So the first thing we would want to do is we come to our search tab to search for VWAP, all right? And it's already programmed into our system. Now you're going to see distance from VWAP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because we have what's called anchored VWAP, something from Brian Shannon and Alpha Trends. So VWAP 1 is your traditional intraday VWAP, your regular VWAP. VWAP 2 is a 2-day anchored, 3-day anchored, 4-day anchored, 5-day anchored, so on and so forth. And so we want the distance from VWAP as far as a percent goes. Disregard these VWAPs down here, okay? So if you're looking for intraday VWAP, I'd go and I'd add this, all right? Add filter, all right? And oh, interestingly enough, this scan actually has a VWAP filter in it. So right now I have a minus 0.5 in it. And if I click this show me function in the middle here, it's going to tell me exactly what the VWAP is playing in a role. So there's a minimum column and a maximum column for values. All right. And clicking that will tell me exactly what the VWAP is doing for the scan with this value of minus 0.5. So it's saying, show me stocks where the price is above the VWAP. Also, show me stocks where the price is at the VWAP. Also, show me stocks where the price is no more than minus 0.5 from the VWAP. All right. And so that's one of the components of the scan, among several other components as well. And it's just as simple as that. And if I want to see something, right at the VWAP, I go 0 and 0 and show me stocks where the price is at the VWAP. All right. If I wanted something where it's no higher than the VWAP, I'd go with a 0 here, saying show me stocks where the price is below the VWAP or at the VWAP. All right. And so, with that function, with this function here, we can really get a detailed view of what any specific filter in this exercise for you, we're demonstrating VWAP here. Let me know if that makes sense there, Matt. And I don't believe you're a subscriber yet. So, if you are looking to subscribe, you can compare the two plans here. If you're not looking for the AI and back testing and stuff, standard is what you want. That link will take you to the pricing page. And if you decide to jump on that code at checkout will give you 15% off the first month of a monthly or first year of an annual subscription there, Matt. And I also, Matt, so just so you get an idea of what kind of support you're getting if you sign up, this is just an open forum for anybody to come in, just like you are to kick the tires. I do this every day, Monday through Friday at 3:30 Eastern, for an hour. I mean, sometimes I go a little over, it just depends on, personal schedules. We also do an open forum like this on this channel at noon Eastern each day. And this actual stream opens up at 9 o'clock Eastern each day, but it's more as a trading room most of the time. from 9 to 3 minus that hour at noon. So, you've got that right there. Then the chat, we have a chat function on our homepage, that email that you hit us at. We have nightly, bi-weekly, nightly webinars. And then we have a full user's guide as well too. So if you end up signing up, Matt, send an email saying, hey, I just signed up. Can you please send me some education material? And we'll put a bunch of links together for you. A lot of videos, a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff to go through. And then I saw someone asked something here. What is U12? It's just a custom formula that I created to find the price of a stock, or find a 5 SMA close to a 20 SMA with the price on a 5-minute chart. So I took the codes, the simple codes for the two filters here, and just did a simple formula, 20 SMA on a 5-minute chart minus a 5-minute SMA on a 20-minute chart. And then I started plugging in values, and these values are what gets me close on a 5-minute chart to what I was looking for on that. Because we don't have great cross alerts that are pre-functioned. So I was trying to create my own kind of cross alert essentially. And so I did that by creating a custom formula for a filter. So it'll get me stocks that are close to that. Then I still needed, for an alert window to find an event to trigger with that. And so far I've been using this crossed above resistance here. Mixed results. I'm running this. I didn't optimize the scan really almost at all. Kind of just threw a few ideas at it and I let it go. So this is what it's done. Let me throw the back test going here. And I see more questions coming in, so I'm going to get to you guys in a second. I don't know why I'm stuck on the odds maker right now. Let's shut that down. Try this again. I don't know. I've been running so slow for the past 3 or 4 days now. I don't know if my machine's finally dying or what's going on. But that's what U12 is. I'm happy to share that custom formula and the values. It's nothing. There's no secret sauce. There's no secret scan or anything like that, as far as I know. Just what are you doing with the information you have? Boy, I don't understand why this is so hung up right now. Sometimes back tests can take a little bit, but and then Pamela, what's the easiest and best way to make a top list with all ETFs in it? Add color code to show positive and negative. I can share with you what I got. So, all right. So this, I probably created this back here somewhere on this graph. All right. And so this is what it had originally shown in the back tester with just a tiny bit of optimizing I had done. And this is what we have moving forward so far. So it's been a tough, 4 or 5 days with a lot of chop in the market. So we'll see what happens. I'll let this play out and see if the scan is really worth its salt or not. We'll just see. That's all there is to it. This is what you want to do here, Pamela. Let me get rid of this. And if someone wants that custom, let me know. I'll share the formula. If not, I'll just let it go at that for now. And then I'll give you the values of it too. So take just a plain top list, Pamela. All right. You come into the configure and first decide what you want to sort on, whether it's something that's already in the columns or you want to search in here and figure out what you want to sort from as far as your change. If you want, change from, close, change 15 minutes, so on and so forth. And then you're going to need a symbols list that's got all the ETFs that you want in it. I'm happy to send you my list. Just email me and I'll copy paste those to you, and then you can copy paste them into a symbols list for you. All right. So, how would we do that? Let's bring this over. If we go to tools, we come to symbols lists. All right. What I would do is I would take my sector analysis list here. All right. I'm going to copy, paste that. Now I can't do it into the YouTube chat because it's not going to come out right. And there's a character limit, but you want it stacked. So that's why in an email, I can do that. Then I'd copy that. And then you're going to get that in an email from me, just like that. And you just simply copy what you got there and paste it into a new symbols list. All right. And once you have that symbols list, you'd right click the scan that you want it going into, and you come to symbols list on the tabs, and you're going to go only the following lists, and you're going to find the list that you want from in here, and you'll click it, and that list will show up here, and you'll put a check mark in it, and that's it. And it'll sort how you want. Now there's 3 sortings. There's 3 types of sorting to a top list. One is the server sort. I don't know that the server sort's necessarily important when you got a top list looking at a set of symbols, but all the same, I think it's good to have it set to what you want it to sort from the server. So that's your server sort in here for the scan. Okay. Then you got your display sort. All right. And that's what you click on for these columns. Okay. So you see how the colors break as I move off the change from close percent. It's also because the third sort is your color sort. So this is your display sort, what columns you're clicking on. Okay. And then the last sort is a right click, properties, select colors, and then you're going to choose what color you want to sort from this list over here. See, I've changed from close, and that's how it gives me my color scheme: -3 being that dark red, white being 0, dark green being 3, and all schemed in between like that. And so that's how you get it all lined up between each other. Hopefully that all makes sense. If anybody wants my sector list, send me an email here, info@trade-ideas.com, and say, hey, looking for Chris's sector analysis list. And I'm not only going to send you that list, but I'm going to show you a video to do exactly what I just showed you there and how I made this exact list here. So hopefully that makes sense. Make sure I'm catching back up on questions. So I answered the U12 question. Again, if someone wants that custom, let me know. I'm going to scroll down. Perhaps you did ask for that already. Some of the details on a scan in the info email. I'd like to hear your thoughts if you're looking for material today, early stages, but might be something. All right, I'll check that out in a moment here, Dan. Then Matt, back to you. Is there a way to create a scan to show indicators, crossing indicators? Example, 9 EMA crossing VWAP. No. So a couple of things with that. One, we don't have EMAs as a filter. I know it's something I really dislike telling people because first off, I've been asking for it for years. So have many other people, but for whatever reason, EMAs seem to be a problem for us putting them out to users as a filter. The second part of that is anything that's a cross and an alert map, it's got to be a hard-coded alert. And unfortunately, hindsight being 2020, when we created our cross scans, our cross alerts, they were coded with a volume confirmation inside them. So all these ones, these are what we actually have for crosses. Now, what do I want to show you? All right, any of these ones here, the SMA crosses, any of these SMA or the VWAP crosses, those are the ones, unfortunately, that have a volume confirmation coded in them. And so it'll make some alerts come late because it's waiting for a volume satisfactor confirmation of volume from that alert to come in, essentially. These ones here are okay. All this cross daily resistance, cross above, cross, cross, cross. I believe these ones are okay in here. It's just these VWAP ones and then these SMA ones. These crossed above resistance and below support ones are all good too. So removing the cross from those, unfortunately, did not go how we thought it would because of the way the alerts are coded. So that's why, Matt, I was discussing me creating this cross that I had created with a custom filter and then attach it to an alert. So if you're looking to do crosses and you're really like hung up on a cross alert, it's not an easy one to do. It's easier to do a cross with a top list, and that's where the rub comes in here, Matt. So on top lists, we don't have an alert coming in at a timestamp moment, like on this A window here versus this T window here. Anything with an A window that says A means an alert. So at this exact second, this minute and this second on this hour, these scans all met whatever this alert is looking for. Versus on a top list, it's going to return every 30 seconds with every stock that meets your criteria. All right. So for example, what I did was I created a custom filter to find stocks that are near a cross of a 520 SMA on a 5-minute chart. And so if I load it here, I have a top list that kind of illustrates this. See if I can find the original top list. 20. Sorry, I'm going through my cloud to find the original top list that does this so I can illustrate exactly what I did. I don't have the original top list, it looks like. Shoot. All right, let me see if I can build the top list really fast. And I'll show you what the difference is here. So, all right, let's see. Search 520 cross, add that filter. Let's see, let's go with 750,000 shares trade. I just want to get rid of some of the noise on this thing here. And then I think it's 0.1 and 0.01. I think that's what I need. Sorry for this will be a hang up for 1 second in here if this gets me what I want. Just got to double check the values of my filters. Okay, minus. That's what I got to change. All right. Bear with me. I'm going to show you how this top list finds things that are close to that cross. And then you can do the same thing, but it's got to be from within something that's in our system for data. So, for example, we don't have EMAs, so that's why I had to work with SMAs on this, and it had to be an SMA that's already in our system. Okay, minus. Okay, and now bring over chart, new chart window. All right, so in this chart window, we have the 5 SMA is this yellowy line, and the 20 SMA is this blue line, okay? And so we're going to find stuff here where those two are very close to each other, possibly indicating a cross, all right? So here we go. And my goal behind it ultimately is for the 5 to be under the 20. So here we go. That's kind of close. Again, here we go. The 5 SMA is trying to move up on that 20 SMA. All right. So this is how I created essentially something where the crosses are close at least. And then I took it a step further and I created an alert window with some other scans involved in it. So, that's the really fast version of what I did essentially for creating that. So the problem that we run into is how do you get the alert to trigger as a cross is triggering? There's no way to get that exact. But trying to find the alert event, you need a new high, a new 5-minute high, a cross above a resistance, a certain kind of pullback, or a certain kind of range break attached with the filter. So the filter finds stocks that are close to that, and then I need an event to trigger it from there, and that's what I did. So you can create a top list that'll have all that, that'll have those close crosses and monitor things from there. Like, this one here just crossed. So, we got that 5 SMA. And the reason why I went with the 5 SMA is because I like actually 8 EMAs crossing a 20 SMA. And I figured the 5 SMA was about as close as I was going to get to an 8 EMA with the information that we have. So that's more or less, hopefully that helps, Matt. And I know there's, without having used the software much, there's obviously some disconnect in what I'm explaining, but hopefully it makes some sense to you on what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of clicking through some charts to show, the cross happened here, but it still qualifies. The filter still qualifies as the stock goes right now. Again, same thing here. The cross, they're almost kissing each other right here. As far as the values go of those SMAs. So that's that. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. All right, and it looks like I'm all caught up on the questions there. So here's scan looking for stocks moving against the market, breaking with their sectors. Well, that's pretty interesting stuff there, Dan. All right. I will probably dive more into this tonight and tomorrow morning, and then I'll come back with it tomorrow just because it'll be a little more prepared instead of bumbling my way through it right now, Dan. But I appreciate that. That's really kind of you to share. and we'll do it. We'll rock through it tomorrow. Sorry, just checking some other tickets. All right, I see your ticket too there, Pamela. So when I wrap up here, I'll get you an email as far as that goes. Maybe I can multitask and get that done now. Yeah, my pleasure, Matt. I want people to go in, eyes wide open on what we can and can't do, what the limitations are, if there are workarounds, things like that. One workaround that I always like to hammer away on is we don't have a bull flag um, pattern recognition. However, one of the other traders that I work with here, Andy, he created a bull flag scanner just using position and range filters. Now, anybody that's been in here, I know I'm a broken record on this one, but Andy took a outside the box thinking with the filters and things that we have to create this scanner. Now, I don't know what we're going to see on it today. Nothing, unfortunately. All right, but so let's go with a time frame. Let's look at historical date. Let's go back. I don't know. Let's go back to the second of. Let's go back to this time on the 2nd of November and see what was happening then. All right, and see if we can line that up with what was going on our charts. All right. And so Barry, what did Barry look like around the 2nd of November? So here we go. This was coming in through here, and look, we had a bull flag that was forming. Pretty nice bull flag actually that was forming. So here we go. There's the move up. There's us flagging this way, and that was actually a nice alert off that. All right, and it wasn't an alert though; it was a top list. All right, again, going back to this was what was coming through this scan at that time, because these top lists update every 30 seconds. So if something meets the criteria, it'll be added to the top list. If something doesn't meet the criteria anymore, it'll be removed from the top list. All right, and again, it's not a pattern recognition. It was just Andy used what he had. For those things and thought outside the box. This one, not so great. Then move had been made up here and the collapse had been made here. So it wasn't really a flag that was going on there. So not a great example. And, I'm unbiased about things. There are things we can do. There's things we can't do. This one here, here's your move up that gets it. Here's it flagging this way, kind of continued to drop for a few days. Made a pop up afterwards. GPC. So same thing here. This one isn't as great of an example because you get the move up here and you're kind of more sideways than that kind of downward slant like a flag traditionally has, but satisfied the filters. And then one may ask themselves, well, what did Andy do? We right click and we come to the configure. And, anybody could do this. They could take it and make it their own. There's some things in here that that might not work for you. So, one of the things that you might remove from here is he used his stock composite rating that him and Michael Noss created. And he put that in there. And this is just basically a real-time composite rating that updates, in real time. So to find more quality numbers, or quality setups, quality names, he stuck a minimum of 80 in there. The rest of the base of the scan is looking at stocks between $5 and $350. Got to be up from the close just that little bit today. The change in 5 days, only a 1% maximum on that change. This is an EPS hack to keep out ETFs. All right. And the 5-day range got to be between 1% and 5%. You got to be 75% above yesterday's low and got to have at least a 3-day range or 3-day change in the last 10 days. And then a little volume average 10 days. So that's what Andy did. Now you could take this and you could mess with some of those filters. And someone that wanted an intraday bull flag, here's a syllabus and what he did. Now you can come back into our search and look at the intraday timeframes that we offer on any of those filters and see how they can translate over to what you're doing there. So again, outside the box thinking on how that was done. I know I've shared this a million times, but I'll go ahead and share it again just in case. Load from cloud, bull flag. Share. Now that scan, unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever you want to call it, Michael Noss did something with their Market Explorer. I won't dive too far into the Market Explorer right now. For bull flags that probably has some bull flags that look a little nicer than that does now. But neither here nor there. The point of it, the real point that I was making is that there's outside the way boxes to do things with the software given some trial and error and some time and effort, essentially. Do you know of a way to do block trade as a percent of shares rather than absolute numbers can't see? No, because it's an alert, Dan. And what I came to actually, Robert that's in here sometimes, I don't know if he's popped in at this point. I emailed him and gave him an answer for what he was looking for. We get our block trade data through a level one that we're subscribed to that shows trades of 20,000 or more greater, but it has there's no dark pool data in that level one data that provides us that. And so that data comes into us and we pass it along to you as an alert. Something like ATR that we have as a filter, we can move that over so that instead of showing it as a dollar amount, we can move that over to convert it to a percent amount. Like I was going over the other day, Dan, maybe it was even yesterday. Um, because it's a filter, we can change it from dollar amount to percent. But because the block trade's an alert, we can't do that. So okay, I really appreciate that, Matt. I never know. I know we got competition out there. Trading, what's a trend spider? They're coming after us. So I appreciate hearing that. Sorry, just share that with the rest of the team because I'll be honest, there's not a lot of viewers in here every day. I don't know what to exactly make of that. We get a lot of people that come in and complain all the time they're not getting enough support, or a lot of people just want one-on-one Zooms constantly, and they're just not staffed to do that. Finding people that A, trade, B, are familiar, C, are successful, D, know the software as well as us, and then to pay those people to sit there and instruct all day long, it's not realistic. So while we do have paid one-on-ones, I took it upon myself to do this live Q&A. It wasn't something that Trade Ideas said, hey, do this. I said, I think, want to get people some more live support every day. This is what I think will help, doing it at a time where it's half an hour for the market open, half an hour the market's closed on it. So it's kind of what I come up with. I'm glad I'm glad you're finding value in it, regardless whether you do subscribe or don't subscribe, Matt. And my thing is, I want people, whether they're subscribed, I want them to get their dollars worth in support. And then B, if they're thinking of subscribing, I can think of no more transparent way than to be here and sharing my screen and talking about these things. It's why, when I go over the AI trades, I constantly say human and machine. Automation, I know, sounds really awesome. It's hard. That's all there is to it. I had someone come in. I doubt they're in here today. I implored them to come in. I had someone talking to in our chat today that's, claims there's some quant fund trader for 25 years or something like that. And they just don't understand our AI and why isn't there a metric to measure it in real. And, how do you, with 1,000 ways to set this up, am I going in at market? Am I going in at a limit? Am I doing conservative? Am I doing moderate? If I go in at a limit, what am I setting the delta at? So on and so forth. What are we going to set up 100 accounts and run those live? It's not realistic. That's all there is to it. And aside from that, there's no magic money machine. If Holly was a magic money machine, I'd have a yacht and I would be in the Mediterranean Ocean right now. So do I think Holly can be automated and in the long term produce a return positive? Absolutely. If you think you're going to retire after 6 months of automating Holly, you need your head examined. That's all there is to it. So, realistic. I like to keep things realistic. It's also why the automation video that I did about Holly, setting her in the simulator, it applies to setting her in real automation too. I made reference to some of the things I just mentioned there to keep people's expectations realistic. Anyways, enough about that stuff. Back to the software. So, all right, Matt, and if you've already pieced out, have a great evening. I didn't catch the end of that. And hopefully we'll see you back in here if you are still listening, if you're still in here. So anyways, that's, as I like to say, the short and skinny of those things like that. My curiosity is itching me now, Dan, on that scan. I can't wait to dive into it later because I'm really curious to see what you came up with there. There's some really cool stuff that can be done with customs for sure, but again, it's a real advanced part of the software. Going back to that, first we learned to crawl, we backpedal, we walk with a lot of stumbles before we start walking, jogging, and then running, and then sprinting. And customs are definitely more of the sprinting side of the things of the software. Um, so that's all of that. What else is there to comment on? Just looking at some of these Holly trades make me sad. This AI makes me sad. You know, it just great entry, great move. The uptick rule was not really an issue at that point. I guess it might have been. Um, but I feel like that was a workable one on the uptick rule for sure. And then, to get an exit up here is kind of just a bummer as far as conservative goes. And obviously, moderate's just moderate. That's kind of a moot point. But what my bummer part of it is that hopefully at some point we'll be able to use more advanced exits and we'll be able to work outside market mechanics because the data will all be from us and not from the brokers. And because that's the limitations of Brokerage Plus, it has to be brokerage data that works on it. But just to see a trade do that well, and knowing that people want automation, that kind of is what it is. If you're looking for a direct link to E-Trade, TOS, and TD Ameritrade, we don't have it. We're working on it, but TD Ameritrade's API data is trash, and it's simply not workable. That's our biggest issue with linking to anybody. Is the only company, the only brokerage that has good API data is Interactive Brokers. Nobody else has a workable API, and they don't care. They're not going to fix it. When we told TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, hey, your API data isn't very good, they said, hey, okay. That's the only way to link. Everything else is just it's only E-Trade and IB to directly link to right now. We were able to quote unquote fix E-Trade's API data for them essentially. But it's fixed to our software, not anybody else's. So the best I can share with you there, Ignacio, is this. Here, let me find the video. Sorry, just going through my video list. Copy link address. That's going to be the best linking that we have for TD Ameritrade right now. And that video covers that specifically for TOS. Everything else, like I said, there's no direct link, no Brokerage Plus link for now. Well, that's exactly it. Now on the flip scale, people ask us for an API all the time. It is what it is. I won't pretend to understand why we don't have one. I just know we don't. We tried one years ago, apparently, and it was causing more problems than it was solving for people, actually. And, the bottom line is, our developers, they can't sit in support waiting for someone that needs help with an API. And us traders are not, we're not developers. That's all there is to it. While we do have some developers that work as traders, it just not the way it works, unfortunately. But believe me, for anybody that is looking for an API from us, you have people on the inside that are always campaigning for it, that we do it. There's more to it. And the other issue that we have with an API is that having all that market data exposed, especially with some changes that the regulators have now made with market data, there's loops for us now to get through. We can't just expose that market data anymore the way we used to be able to do it. So there's some rules and regulations to an API, not just us opening an API. So hate TOS, I'll try IB, just need to make a move with it. I'll be honest, I like Thinkorswim. I used it for years. I got familiar with it, I guess. What I really loved more than anything else was Active Trader Pro from Fidelity, but we don't have that. But what I like more than anything else is Brokerage Plus. I like to link to Brokerage Plus, and I like to trade through it personally, and so that's why I'm with IB. I've talked about moving to E-Trade. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. The only reason I wanted to move to E-Trade is just because I want to be familiar with something we link to. Nobody here uses E-Trade. The only E-Trade testing that we did was a company account that we put through the ringer with E-Trade with live, and that's how we knew that E-Trade was faulty, and how we worked through the faults of it, and with the E-Trade's API and all that stuff like that. So I just figure it might be good for one of us to have an E-Trade account that we've familiarized ourselves with. So maybe at some point I'll make that move. But for now, I mean, I use IB. There's things about IB I like, things I don't like. Same thing with Thinkorswim. It was just comfortability thing that I used it for years. So um, you know, both Trader Workstation and Thinkorswim are hogs on the machines too, which isn't ideal. And the thing with E-Trade that is great is you don't need to run E-Trade because it's a pass through the web portal, the authentication. So you don't need any other software running than ours. If you need time and sales and you want to be able to look at a live bid and ask, then yeah, you'll have to run something that has that, because we don't offer that. We do have a spread filter, but it doesn't update live in that sense. So that's the short and skinny of that. So again, I see people, piling in and filing out of here. Not a ton of people, but if someone's coming in and what are we doing? What are we talking about? It's Trade Ideas software, just a live Q&A for it. I'm not really kind of actively demonstrating anything because we're more having a conversation about some of the things that are in here. But if someone wants something demonstrated, fire away for me, please. Happy to demonstrate those things. And take a look at some things that I'm crying about. PPSI. We discussed this the other day, and I said I was going to put it on my liked list and kind of keep an eye on it, just because, for something that makes a big move like that up, and then it makes, these other moves here kind of like this, it's showing there's still some buyer interest in it, and that the bag holders have had opportunities to get out now and not take a complete crushing loss. Getting out at $8-9 from $12, not the end of the world, or it shouldn't be. And if it is, well, then you really share size it appropriately. So, and I said, I kind of want to see this, what happens when it catches these moving averages. It's called these moving averages. I had a price alert that was set around here today. Is that 7:30? Let's take a look. I bet that's 7. No, all right, up in here somewhere. I was looking at around 7:30 in here, and well, anyways, hindsight trading. I was in a support chat and a remote for someone that was having trouble with something, and I just couldn't get a trade executed at the price that I wanted with the limit that I put in. And of course, it went on to do what it did today. Crying in my soup from that. So the downside of working for Trade Ideas, miss a trade once in a while. Apron that's on the TI strength alerts this week. So let's see, we're at Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So here's, the alert comes in here from the TI strength alerts, somewhere in that $10 range, $10.30 range. You can get a pullback on Monday to get even a better price. Not too shabby. And this is a beautiful red bar ignore that is now formed here on Apron. So that's nice to look at. We can bring over the TSI alerts here. So TI strength alerts, this is the actual ones that went out on that email. All right. So if we look at LNG here, what do we got? What are we looking at for the week on it here? All right. So counted back Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So no, not so hot on that, but let's see if we can get a trend change and close it positive for Friday into Monday. QGen, same thing. Let's see if we can't get a trend change coming back to this here. This just got kind of smacked around, unfortunately. Trended down, but that doesn't mean these things aren't relevant moving forward here. And so let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're right around Monday's shot here for MRVI. We'll see what that translates into going into next week. So those are your strength alerts there. Any thoughts on SoFi? I'm getting killed on it. Ugh, well, I'm sorry for that. I hope you're getting killed on it means you're still above your stop, and you just want to hear some positive thoughts while you're hanging out to either get stopped out or for a reversal. So it's a new issue, right? Yeah, so a very new issue. A beautiful horseshoe up that happens here. All right. And obviously, its opening days, its opening week was big resistance there. You've gotten smacked around because you're in technology and you're in the NASDAQ, which has been choppy as hell. All right. And it looks like earnings were a disaster for it, according to the charts. So here's your earnings day. You got this gap down, and I'm going to guess that a lot of people thought I was getting a bargain here on this gap down, and that led to this, and then a bleed after earnings. Um, Things that my eye goes to now, with what little data that's on here. This seems to be a level of interest. Why is it a level of interest, Chris? This is why. We saw price action hover around it here and here and here and here and here again. And here we are trying to defend it again. Ironically, they beat on earnings. See, and that's why I just, I just know the earnings existed. I have no idea what they did for earnings. So they beat for earnings, they gap down, gap back up the next day, and then give it all up. Now, how does that make sense to, you know what I mean? What am I supposed to make of that for earnings? How do I trade that? I have no idea that. So that's the thing that's always kind of miffed me about earnings and why, I'm just going to trade the price action of the charts. Here it's, like I said, you have earnings, you beat and you gap down. So they must have had terrible guidance. I'm guessing that's the only thing that can make sense to me. All right. So yeah, terrible guidance. And, I think the longer you stay below this 1650 line, give or take, well, we'll call it 1675 maybe. Yeah, 1680-ish, give or take. The longer you're below that line, the worse it is. That's all there is to it. Yeah, so as long as you're sticking to whatever original plan that you had, it's one of those stocks that is hyped with Wall Street bets. I manage that list, so it's been on that Wall Street's bets list for months, I guess now. And we're going back to July. July. As I've seen it since then. So there's a lot of things that are involved in this, and so you're looking at more than just a technical play. And I would say, it would be nice from the yeah, it's probably there right now. Like I'll show you what I use. It's no big secret here what I use to manage that list. Let me find the web page. I'm just using this here to manage that list. This scrubs, all the time. Then I come down here and I'm just pulling stuff from this list here based on mentions, and that's it. So I don't even know if it's there today or not. And anything that has less than 10 mentions, the only time I put anything with more than 10 less than 10 mentions is usually Monday, because on Mondays there's usually only like a dozen names on here. So I figured try to get the list going. So if anybody wants that, here you go. So it's not like this is any big secret or something like that. We're just scrubbing data. So that's what we use for Wall Street bets. All right. And I just go in and I update the list accordingly in the mornings. Sometime between 5 o'clock in the morning and 6:30 in the morning, I usually update this. But generally speaking, if it has less than 10 mentions, it won't make our Wall Street bets list. So that's that. So that's that on SoFi. Constructive would be, obviously some sideways movement here to get yourself a curl back up. That would be that. And, if nothing else, look, while yes, 25 to 16, good range. I don't feel like that's anything insane considering the hype behind it, the liquidity behind it. I mean, 26 mil share, almost 27 mil shares traded today, and that's doing normal volume over 10-day average. You know what I mean? So to have that range, a new issue, Wall Street bets, all that hype, I don't think that's anything crazy, to be honest, that kind of range right now. Yes, on a percentage basis, it's huge, but when you factor in it to be relative to what the stock is, it just kind of is what it is. No, that's exactly it. Or I don't even know what else is on that list, but there's other stuff on that list that is even more crazy. So that's for sure. That's, as far as that kind of stuff goes. Sorry, I'm just checking out a few more of these chats that come in here. I always feel like I'm left outside now on some of the things that go on internally here. So we got 10 minutes, almost to the second, before I wrap up for the day. So I see numbers going up and down as far as people coming into the stream. What are we doing here? This is a Trade Ideas live Q&A right now. We're kind of just having a back and forth about some different things here, not just software related, but I'm here for a live Q&A and demonstration of Trade Ideas software. So if you have questions about the software, who we are, what we are capable of doing, different functions within the software, fire those questions away for me. It's open forum. I have no pre-done content, just having conversations back and forth here with some people. That is that. Do I trade off the AI? Yes and no. I actually want to take the other side of this trade today on Kirk. I just felt like that was way overdone. I thought there was going to be a short bounce. I was going to make a day trade on it, and I was involved. It was right around the time that PPSI trade I wanted to do. I just got stuck on something, and I couldn't trade, so I just kind of missed out on it. I use the AI as a watch list, though. I don't like stocks really over $30-$35. So if it's not alerting in my price range, I'm not looking as much. And then the other thing that I like with the AI is, there's obviously something going on under the hood if she's alerting something. And so I just like to look at the alerts in general. I'll be honest, I just haven't been actively trading much over the last 3 weeks now. I guess maybe year end has got me and the chop has got me sitting back a little bit more. But during earnings seasons, especially, I kind of take a heavier look at the alerts that are coming through here, and I made some day trades through them. Things that I have rules. I'm not jumping unless I've been stalking a stock for weeks or at least solid few days. Really been on my radar. I'm not jumping on something earlier than 15-20 minutes into the open. I don't like to trade stuff that's gapped up, especially really big, and if it's gapped up near resistance. So sometimes her alerts. You see me go through these alerts a lot that we're finding things like that make me hesitant. So like KR, just let's pretend if it was in my price range. Let's get rid of the rest of the stuff that's on here. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this on a twofold thing here. So let me zoom some charts and get what I'm thinking. So first off, this alert comes in. It's earnings number one. So I know that a lot can happen in earnings. All right. And then it's a 9:37 alert, and I haven't been watching KR, regardless of the price or anything else. So I don't have a feel for its price action, what it's been doing recently. So it's a very early alert for me to get in on. All right, and then we gap to here. All right, and the alerts coming in here, right at some resistance on me. All right, so resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. I'm thinking to myself, all right, 9:37, we gapped here, we moved right into resistance. Like, do I really want to jump on that stock? Now, apparently, hindsight trading tells me, yes, I did want to jump right on it. But, that's not what I'm doing for trading. It's just not part of my plan. And I'm not deviating from my plan. Every time I do, I pay money to the market gods. That's all there is to it. So, this gave a nice setup, though. So the alert came in here, and now there's time, and moving averages are catching up, and now I see it starts to grind higher, all right? And at that point in the day, the market was grinding higher as well. And there happened to be a good amount of time to get into this alert and to see that it's pushed through this resistance. It's making its way through that resistance. And now I've got a lot of room to this next resistance line that happens to be up here at the bottom of that wick for that gap that's sitting there. It's not much of a gap, but all the same, it's tradable. There's definitely some alpha to be had in there. And so, that's what I look at. Any AI alert that comes in, I like it. It feels good when a stock that I've been watching comes through the AI. There's nothing better than that because now I already have a leg up because I've been studying that to start with. And now the AI is interested in it, and my work is already done on the charts. And so I could really kind of make a faster move if I do decide that I want to get into it. And so that's my 2 cents on how I personally use the AI as far as day trading goes. And then as far as swing trading goes, I kind of related to my evening scan. I want to, and something that I've taken a little bit from Barry is, is stock closing near resistance and is it closing strong? Doesn't have to close on the high of the day, but this kind of faded through the end of the day here. So I don't know if I want to really swing something like that. It's kind of giving it up through the rest of the day and fading away. See something that might look a little nicer. Yeah, this one's kind of a bummer because you can't trade. It's a preferred stock, I believe, so you can't. I don't know if there's an underlying security to this. We could look it up, but just for chart sake, this is something I'd be more interested in to wanting to think about swing. All right, we've come down here. Maybe we've established a base. We're a very liquid stock. We get a nice gap up and a nice move today, just all day long, steady. All right. We've got this resistance above it, but is it possible to maybe push through that resistance? Possibly. So, this might be something I want to watch moving forward. I know that, energy's been beaten up. This is, energy here. So, is energy ready to turn the table? Did it pull back to the mean, pull back to the revision? Is it ready to go again? Is this part of that that's ready to go? Could be. So that's, how I'd look at the AI in that sense. So, is the AI only good for day trading? The entry and exit parts of the algorithm are set up for such. I just don't know if I don't know about exit and entries right now swing trading wise until we're able to have more advanced exits than what we have, having to obey the market gods. And by market gods I mean the your brokers. A broker can't calculate an SMA and EMA for an exit. At some point, if we decide that we want to hold those orders instead of the broker holding those orders, and we get the data lined up so that we can do that, because a twofold set for us to do that, that'll really change what we're doing as far as automation goes. So sorry, I had to put myself on mute for a second there. Question about price alerts using different platform for my alerts. Curious what TI's alerts. If I set alert web where I get alerted. No price alerts. It's funny. We had a conversation today um, about trying to somehow create push notifications and having them, set with price alerts, because setting those with an alert window that's really chatty is not realistic, to be honest. But if someone has a dozen price alerts and getting a push notification from those alerting, that's more realistic. Very preliminary talk. So I mean, you know, it was just a conversation. Nothing has been, no ground has been broken on it yet. But unfortunately, the only way to get an email alert is with an alert window that's configured through the SMS email on the accounts, your account management page. Excuse me, sorry, yawn's coming in on me. And that's the only way to do that right now. So, perhaps, I think when anything's coming to that, maybe having an alert window with a narrow set of stocks you're looking at with some simple new high and volume filters in it, that would be the way to go. Kind of just gave me an idea for something. There's a few videos I want to do. And the only other thing that I could suggest to you is have the web version create a layout on the desktop, okay? And then, but have it tailored for your on-the-go device, whether it's a tablet, phone, or both, and have that layout tailored, or have a layout created and tailored to that web version with that small screen space, maybe with just a price alert and one top list or something on it. And then, you can open it once in a while so you don't have it running in the background all the time. A, stealing data, B, killing your killing your battery, but you open it up now and again when you want to get an alert every few minutes, an hour, whatever it is when you're on the go. That would be my suggestion to work around for that. So there's a video that I wanted to do on that. Maybe one of these days I'll get to it. But that would be the workaround for that. You know, is it the perfect solution? No, but again, work with what we have, not with what we want. And to just make one other comment, there's things that we would like to see here as me, Steve, Andy, Jamie, and Chris McKay that I work with. He's more of a behind the scenes person, but there are things that we would like to see happen with the software. We're just not always on the same page with what the devs are doing or what the devs want or what management wants. And so, there's a lot of things that we answer to. One, the feature requests that come in, each one of those get logged and cataloged, and then they get graded by how many people are asking for that feature request. And then there's things that, the people that write the paychecks here that they want to see implemented into the software. Then there's things that the devs want to see / the dev traders want to see, things that us as traders want to see, and then things that are actually realistically doable for us. So, it's combining all those things to try to create, what we are. And the bottom line is, in life, you can never be everything to everybody. Someone's always going to feel left out. That's all there is to it. So, getting cold for Christmas. Listen, believe me, first off, I'm just, a year and a couple of months now into working for Trade Ideas. And then I'm several years user with Trade Ideas. And believe me, I was one of those people on the email side of things. Hey, when are we going to see this? Hey, when are we going to see that? Hey, when are we going to see that? And now I'm on the inside saying it too. So there are people that make campaigns for you all, and it does not fall on deaf ears. It's a tough position to be in for anybody that works in support like me, where, I see some of the same people coming in and, asking for some of the same things that I've been asking for. And I don't have a reason. I can't give them a real reason why we don't have it other than, it's just not easy to implement. So anyways, that's that. We're at just past the 4:30 mark, so I guess I'll wrap it up here. I saw those emails that came in from Pamela and Dan. I'm going to dive into that stuff. Pamela, you'll hear from me in a few moments here with that video and my list of ETFs to look at. And that video will apply to creating any top list that you want to use as a watch list or anything like that. So, all right, that's that. I'll end with, I do this every day, for anybody that's just either joining or what's going on. Every day, 3:30 Eastern, I do a live Q&A for Trade Ideas. The idea is to kind of talk software, what we can do, troubleshoot things for people. Sometimes we're building scans together. Sometimes we're showing off the AI. Sometimes we're showing off the simulator, so on and so forth. This room opens at 9 o'clock Eastern every morning. In the morning, Barry does it. He runs it till noon as a trader's room. He gives up the stream for an hour to do a live Q&A with someone else. That's like myself for an hour. Then Barry runs it back from 1 o'clock Eastern time in the afternoon to 3. He shuts down for half an hour and I open it back up then. So please come join us. Dan, Perfect Circle, Pamela, Ignacio, anybody that pops in here, I really appreciate you being in here. I appreciate the comments, appreciate the interaction day in and day out. So thank you all very much, and I hope to see you all and more back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye-bye.